Hello and welcome to Allot on Air. During the next 10 minutes or so, we'll be meeting with industry experts to discuss the hottest trends in telecom, cybersecurity, and network intelligence.
Hi, I'm Barry Spielman, Product Marketing Director for Security at Allot. Joining us today in the Allot on Air studio is Aaron Martin Olivares, Cybersecurity Marketing Analyst at Allot. Aaron, thanks so much for joining me again. It's not your first time on the Allot on Air studio.
Hello, Barry, and thank you for your introduction. And no, it's not my first time. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to have you here.
Thank you.
In today's podcast, we're going to take a glimpse into data that we're going to be presenting in our upcoming cyber threat report that looks back at the cyber threats Allot Tier 1 and Tier 2 European customers blocked during the first half of 2021. It's also going to be sort of a promo for the webinar that we're going to be holding on September 2nd. And on that very subject, and Aaron, you're going to be joining me on that one too. So that'll be cool. Get a lot of time here together. So if we jump right into it, in the previous 2020 CTR, that would be Cyber Threat Report, that webinar that we did, phishing increased more than 700% last year in 2020. Is this still the same trend? Has something changed?
No, actually, it isn't. Surprisingly, phishing actually went down. We think that is due to the appearance of the new malware known as Flubot. Everything changed. Phishing went down since the previous year, and during this first half, the CNC categorized as malicious downloader were the most blocked category and the one that actually increased.
Wow, that's interesting. Especially 700% is a huge increase, and now you're saying that there's a shift. So, can you tell our listeners something more about Flubot?
Of course. Well, I don't want to do a spoiler of the webinar.
Don't do a spoiler, man. Don't do a spoiler.
But basically, Flubot is a Trojan that is a little bit mixed with a phishing attack, meaning that once the user opens a banking application on its mobile phone, it will show a phishing overlay instead of the legitimate page of the banking. And in addition to that, Flubot has a special characteristic that makes it a little bit more special than other banking Trojan. And to not say more, this will be explained in the webinar.
Okay, so we have something to look forward to on that webinar. But Flubot has influenced the trends during the first half of the year, right? That's for sure. Are we expecting to see that continue over the course of, say, the second half of 2021?
Flubot is not just the main reason of having malicious downloader as the most blocked category, but it seems like other cyber criminals has been focusing on this type of threat due to the high success of Flubot. For example, we have seen more CNC and different pages hosting viruses than in previous periods. So regarding the trend for the rest of the year, Flubot is not over. This is clear, and it is still working, and we are seeing different CNC blocks all over the world. So yeah, I think that 2021 will be for sure the Flubot year.
Wow, the Flubot year, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So maybe we could just ask this question, how many people were protected from Flubot? I'm going to say by Allot Secure via our CSP Tier 1, Tier 2 European service providers. How many people were protected during the first half of 2021 from Flubot?
Indeed, it's scary. Luckily, companies like ours, are minimizing the risk of getting infected and losing the well-saved money from the bank. So, during the first half of the year, we registered more than 650 million blocks related with cyber threats.
Say that again. 650 million, huh?
Correct. Yeah, that's a huge number. Huh?
Yep.
All of these blocks are distributed among 14% of our total customers on average.
Wow. Well, like we said before, there's a lot going on here, and this is all a very good build-up for the upcoming webinar. We're going to keep this podcast today short and sweet, but this is all good stuff. And like I said at the start of the podcast, it's really only a promo for September 2nd webinar. We invite our listeners to join that webinar. There'll be a morning session and there'll be an afternoon section so we can accommodate the needs of folks literally around the world. And the report, the actual cyber threat report, will be released that very same day. And Aaron, I look forward to having you join me on that webinar.
Of course. Thank you, Barry, for having me on the podcast. And yeah, let's see in the webinar how it goes.
As always, a pleasure. Aaron
Same.
Martin Olivares, Cybersecurity Marketing Analyst at Allot. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Barry.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening. You can get more information about network intelligence and security solutions for service providers and enterprises on our website at allot.com. Subscribe to this podcast to make sure you hear about new trends and technologies on the next episode of Allot on Air.